Hi everyone, so I am here again with another Hoya video. This is the part 2 of my Hoya collection, which features the small leaved Hoyas I own. I have never been interested in Hoyas until I saw the ability to create specimen size Hoya pots. I was bitten by the Hoya bug in no time, which honestly led to unsubscribing from a lot of orchid related activity. As an epiphyte with similar growth habits as orchids, it was very easy to this orchid enthusiast to get into Hoyas, since I had all the media, pots, fertilizer, and I knew all the growing methods too. These I tried to my heart's content on Hoyas and settled with my own preferred methods of semi-hydro with leca and some in cocoa husks, as well as a DIY pond consisting of my own mineral base substrate selection, which you already know and will see again today. Most of my Hoyas suffered when I had to go back to work, even though we were working from home. However, the best thing about Hoyas is that they bounce back quickly. If the media is able to flush naturally using the rain, would also be fine without fertilizer. And that again is a great perk of living in a tropical climate. Now you're seeing a full tray of small leaved Hoyas. The first Hoya being Hoya Rosita, initially which was discovered from Philippines. So all of these Hoyas, as you already know, are found from the Southeast Asian countries. So therefore I will not go into detailing where each one originated from. This Hoya Rosita, a very common Hoya with a red small flower and a yellow and red mixed corona, and also has a red lining on the leaves. This gave me no trouble in taking off. So I would encourage any beginner Hoya grower to select this as a starter plant. And all my Hoyas you will see today are in the DIY pond mixture, which I have used with lava rock, charcoal and leca. And on top of some pots I have used decorative pebbles to hold in the plant. So this is my Hoya shepherdii SSB China bean. At first this stalled a bit, but this is the plant that would do really well when ignored. And all plants I would show now are in 600 milliliter coffee bean plastic cups. I recycled and drilled holes using a soldering iron. These were my orchid seedling pots. Again, I reused to start Hoyas. Coming to Dishidya Oyanta variegata, with the top layer of pebbles, I have used to keep the heavy succulent vine from uprooting itself from its pot. This is also very easy. It gives you no trouble. It will take off. And so here comes a very sorry case, Hoya Bertonier, which has been over an year and kept stalling its growth. but now I see it's finally pulling through. This is my Hushkiliana yellow variety, which was a long plant, and I chopped it up because it was getting very heavy at the bottom of the vines due to its branching. So it kept uprooting itself, and I also gave it a cover pot to give it more stability. And this would bloom for me always. The flower is a light yellow shade, which nice floral fragrance, which is very powerful in the night. Now we are seeing Hoya Fiji, and this also I had to chop it up because the plant would not do very well as two vines. Now it's doing well and the leaves are bigger, so I want this to do well, which I can see it has started to. And Hoya Naimularoides, I so love the touch of these leaves, so velvety, and I love the twisting and turning of the small vines in the pot. This is same as the Bertonier, was very slow but took off when I started pruning the vines a bit. Then you see Dishidya Oyanta. This is also called the watermelon Dishidya, which is very thirsty, and when sun stressed it would get a pinkish red translucent shade. So beautiful. And this is Hoya Croniana, which I got just 2 leaves in the cutting a month ago, and it took off and climbed out of the pot also. I think I should add some pebbles to this too. And finally you are seeing my Dishidya Oyanta, and this was the easiest out of all the Dishidyas, with its long strands. The new leaves would look pinkish color, which even heightens in the sunshine, which I so love. I love the green shade of this. It's a very light green shade and it's very beautiful. So I know this will grow well, and this is the only plant, only Dishidya that I have in full cocoa husk, and it's doing very well. So let me tell you something. As a general relaxation method after a hard day's work, I go to my Hoyas and I would examine all the vines in them, and with a small sewing scissor, what I would do is I would renew the old cuts if a new leaf or a vine hasn't sprouted for some time. If the roots are doing well in the pot, this action would trigger the plant into an active growth mode. If you want to grow a new vine or make the pot more fuller, you can also try to select a vine where you don't have to take off leaves to find a node for the rooting. Most of these leafless joints are already with air roots, which would be an extra perk in rooting the vine faster. Generally, what I would do is to stick them in the same pot where the leaves would turn towards the sun in time as it roots. So that should conclude my filming for today. But wait, I have one of my favorite Dishidyas I forgot to show you. This is my Dishidya Oyanta. You can see how full this pot is. I cannot even see any part of the media in such a big pot. This is in all charcoal with a bottom layer of leca due to its large size drainage holes, which I wanted to stop the media from falling through the cracks. So I used a very fine charcoal in this because of the vine's very dainty roots, which I will explain to you now. In case of a smaller leaved Hoya, which the roots are also small, it is great if you can use a clean fine mixture to repot, because that would enable the roots to move around the media much faster and hold on to the potting media. You know, if the roots grow well, the vines would show the same from the outside. That is what has happened in this specimen of mine. And overpotting wouldn't be an issue if you can control the input of water you give to this plant. Enabling a good balance with what we call a wet and dry cycle is the key to start a small leafed Hoya, in my experience, where you can change to a semi-hydro or a full cocoa husk method later, once you know each plant's growing habits yourself. So I hope this was explanatory when it comes to taking care of a small leaved Hoya. As you see, I have let my Dishidyas grow on themselves, and I've let them become wild and do what they want, because I have rooted them again and again in the same pot. So if you want to enable your plant to grow faster and better, you also have to let the plant be. You should not meddle with it. That is what I do not do. Even if I spray from afar. I do not go to inspect, other than when I go around checking the leaves, that is once in a while, where I would take off all the dead parts of the vines. So to recap of what I wanted to tell you, it is important to flush your pot. If it's not getting flushed naturally like mine does, it is important to give it good airflow, and that would enable the root growth better. And if the plant is breathing better, it will show that through the new growths that it would give us. It is good to prune from all around the plant to give it a fresh look as well as new growth. And at the same time, I would encourage you to use a finer potting mixture when you are starting a small leaved Hoya, because of its smaller roots. And if you can grow outside, finally, is the best way to get the Hoya to be stronger. That I have found from my personal experience, where if you let it get sun stressed or reduce its own sun stress according to the sun and the shade it gets and the rain it gets, there's a heavy possibility that the plant would get stronger. In the same way, if the plant is a problematic plant, ridden of any kind of fungus or mealybug issue or something like that, you cannot do this. You have to put the plant in quarantine and make sure that the plant is getting moderate conditions, as well as it does not make the other plants also sick. So there is a balance to all this, but if you as a habit give it a neem oil spray once in a while, the plants would start responding. And because neem oil is not bad for humans also, you are not breathing anything bad. So I would encourage you to grow naturally with natural fertilizer. I make my own fertilizer. I make my own charcoal also, and I got a Sri Lankan potter to do my leca, and I got the lava rock imported. So I made up my own pond mixture. Sometimes I would add decorative pebbles into that potting mixture, not only on top. So different types of things I try out to see what would be suitable for me. So I encourage you to do that too, without being afraid of the plant. So I hope you understood and got some idea and some education about some things that you have not considered before, or some things that are new to you. I have grown these Hoyas indoors also under grow lights, but then again for easy maintenance I threw all of them out, and now they are all growing outside in a very receiving very good conditions, which I think the Hoyas like much more than what they received when they were inside. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will catch you again another time. Thank you all for watching my previous Hoya video. I hope I actually know that you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Bye.